Welcome back to True Crime Tape HQ. Here, we examine real recorded phone calls tied to the case of Sarah Boone, now convicted in the death of her fiancé, a case that stunned audiences and raised difficult questions about responsibility, trauma, and the realities of justice. At the center of it is a deeply unsettling act. A man left trapped inside a suitcase, unheard and unseen as his life slipped away. In today's episode, we enter the Orange County Jail on December 1, 2024. The weight of sentencing hangs heavy and time moves at a different pace. Special credit and acknowledgment to the Third Rail True Crime channel for their foundational reporting and source material.
An inmate at the Orange County Corrections.
You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. That was my free phone call that we get on Sundays, and it's only 5 minutes, so
Okay.
thank you for your patience. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, the letters. So anybody who I had asked, I told them to send it to you, to send it to James, and to send it to. But I don't know if they did all of that. And I was just going to, if I had to triple make sure that it was there between the three of you guys, I was going to just do that. And
Okay.
James is notorious for losing things, or I don't know if you know, but we've had to send things to him hundreds of times. Are you even able to just like print stuff out and hand it to him when we're in the courtroom? Like, remember, James is supposed to be here today. I don't know what he's doing. He's not answering his phone to this present moment. I tried calling him 3 times between yesterday evening and today, so I don't know when he's supposed to even be here. But my goal, yes, if you would like me to call you around 1 o'clock, I can do that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to find out, too, are you going to track his ass down tomorrow, considering that you're here, to introduce yourself and to say what's going on? Wait for him in the courtroom afterwards to let him know, and I'm going to tell him, please go introduce yourself. And
Try and talk to him and see if he had a minute where I can, figure out what the hell's going on with the family law thing and everything else.
Yes, and while you are in his face, like, I totally please take advantage of his time, because other than this, once I'm sentenced, it's like peace out, so.
Yep, 100%.
Okay, and yes.
How are you feeling? Are you like nervous, or what's going on in your head?
I'm not really nervous, to be honest with you. I am very confident, especially with the amount of people that I have coming to represent me, either in a letter, an email, or in person. I wanted to talk to you for a moment about like my statement and what you sent me information-wise in regards to how the judge could cut me off or interrupt me.
Mm-hmm.
The case relevance to my case. I'm going to talk about forgiveness of George Torres' family, social media, my 3 prior attorneys, both judges, the jury, and myself, the prosecutor and the detectives. So I didn't know if that was too much or whatever, but I read it to Lana, and she was freaking floored and said, don't be afraid of the judge and just keep doing it, because if he does interrupt you, then it's going to be an appellate issue. But I don't want him to stop me in the middle of it, and, I'm on the flow, like getting it, and then him say, you can't read that any longer. So I'm starting off with, it's forgiveness, okay? It's forgiveness. So I'm forgiving, first off, George Torres. And I'm forgiving him for, beating, spitting, raping, beating, all of that. I'm forgiving him for all of that, okay? But nothing actually came and brought to light in my actual case, so I made a list of some of the things that he had done to me, and I was forgiving him for, okay?
Okay.
My second one is going to be, I forgive his family for not intervening, for helping and knowing who he was and what he did, and to throw out there also about Pharrell stabbing the mother of his baby in the side of his head, which, talks about the violence in their family. I mean, it's a split-second blip on the radar.
Mm.
And then I was going to forgive social media for their insensitivity and, how I am, where I am, and who they have depicted me as, and forgive them for that. And then I was going to forgive the judge for making me pro se, for kicking me when I was down, for, not listening, and basically that's what it is. And then I was going to write, and then I wrote about the detectives and their trickery and coercion, and, why didn't they take the bloody pillowcase of mine? Why didn't they take the butcher knife and the garden claw? Why didn't they do anything like that? So I'm forgiving them for that. And then the prosecutor, I was forgiving him for his errors during the trial to cause confusion and dysfunction to the jury, which equaled them giving me the sentence that they did. And then the jury I was going to forgive for not understanding and being confused and being hungry and away from their family for 2 weeks, in full capacity. And I feel that it was a brash, rushed decision, and I forgive them for that. And I understand about them being away from their family for 2 weeks and everything else. So, and then I was going to forgive myself for not standing up for myself sooner, for not, distancing myself, not fighting for myself, not doing any of that sooner. So I didn't know if this was too much, if I was going out of my boundaries.
I don't.
Oh, and I don't know if I...
Look, I mean, the judge will do whatever he wants, but as long as it's said in a way that it's not
It's
contemptuous,
smart-ass and condescending.
maybe what you could do is you could prioritize it so that the ones that you want to say the most are in order. So this way, if he does shut you down, then at least you got the ones out that you wanted to say,
Okay, yes, and thank you for your feedback. But my thing is,
Yeah.
First off, it's not what you think it is. It may be after I read it to you. So maybe at 1 o'clock, if you had 15 minutes or maybe
Yeah.
another phone call, I would like to read it to you, okay?
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
But my thing is, though, it's a professional fuck you. Excuse me. It's a professional fuck you.
Yeah.
And I don't want him in the middle of it to say, what does this have relevance to my case? And it is my case. My entire every detail that I'm giving to you right now, as everyone on the face of the planet knows, this is part of my case, not just specific case details. The specific case details are specific case details because of how I got to that point. So there's a lot and everything that is involved in my case, which is what I'm trying to let the judge know, and I'm forgiving everybody. I'm making another copy and I'm mailing it to him, or I was going to hand deliver it to him in the courtroom. I mean, what do you think about that?
That's excellent.
I mean, I was going to have this said one way or another. But I need for you, and I don't want to bother Lana quite yet because it's too early for her.
Yep.
Let's pause here for a moment, because what we're hearing is critically important. At this point in the call, Sarah Boone isn't focused on the logistics of sentencing or potential mitigation. Instead, she is meticulously constructing a narrative, one where forgiveness becomes the centerpiece, but responsibility is carefully redistributed. Notice how the word forgive is repeated again and again. On the surface, it sounds reflective, even conciliatory. But listen closely, forgiveness here is not paired with accountability. It's aimed outward, at the victim, at his family, at social media, at investigators, attorneys, the jury, the prosecutor, even the judge. What's notably absent is any sustained acknowledgment of the specific act that led to George Torres's death. This moment reveals a pattern seen throughout Sarah Boone's recorded statements. Rather than framing sentencing as a moment of reckoning, she frames it as an opportunity to correct the record, to confront perceived injustices, and to reassert control over how her story is told. The sentencing statement becomes less about remorse and more about resistance. Also worth noting is her concern, not about how the judge may interpret her words, but about whether the judge has the authority to interrupt her. That tension tells us a lot. This isn't fear of punishment, it's fear of being silenced. As we continue the call, keep this in mind. Sentencing statements are often the last chance a defendant has to influence how they are seen, not just by the court but by history. And here, Sarah Boone appears determined to use that moment not to seek mercy, but to deliver what she herself later calls a professional FU. Let's go back to the call.
It is my case. My entire every detail that I'm giving to you right now, as everyone on the face of the planet knows, this is part of my case, not just specific case details. The specific case details are specific case details because of how I got to that point. So there's a lot and everything that is involved in my case, which is what I'm trying to let the judge know, and I'm forgiving everybody. I'm making another copy and I'm mailing it to him, or I was going to hand deliver it to him in the courtroom. I mean, what do you think about that?
That's excellent.
I mean, I was going to have this said one way or another. But I need for you, and I don't want to bother Lana quite yet because it's too early for her.
Yep.
I mean, what? I mean, am I wrong? Tell me, is this supposed to be like, oh God, I'm so sorry that this happened. I love George. Tears, tears, tears. All this. I mean, is that what it's supposed to be, and that's what everybody's expecting me to say?
I just don't know how much of an impact it really has. That's probably what he wants to hear. I personally doubt that it's going to have much of an impact on what his final sentencing is. Not going to happen.
So one of my things, the only part that I'm kind of concerned about is, okay, I'm telling you this now, it's in your face, hardcore, point blank between your eyes. That's what Lana said. So my thing is, though, in regards to relevancy, In one of them, I'm forgiving Bankowitz and Hobson and Cashman for taking $46,000 of the JAC money, precious money, to help aid indigent descendants like myself. So I don't want him to say what relevancy does that have to do with anything. Well, it's part of my case, and it's what I've had to live through.
Well, did they take $46,000 specifically for your case, or just?
Yes. So all of them went and boo-hooed to the justice system, somebody, and they ended up having a hearing just for me, and supposedly how awful and monstrous and just how terrible I was, and they all asked for $15,000, and Cashman asked for $16,108. So it's all of the shit that they lied about, and then they, in my opinion, robbed the JAC and robbed me of my, precious dollars. I'll just read it to you at 1 o'clock.
Okay, read it to me at 1 o'clock.
I hope you have a super day, and I will
Call
talk
me
to you here in a little while regardless. Okay?
All right, call me at 1. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
As this call comes to an end, what lingers isn't just what was said, but what was never acknowledged. In these recorded moments, we hear someone preparing for sentencing while still fighting for control over the narrative. The focus remains on perceived injustices, on explanations and grievances, while the irreversible loss at the center of this case is largely absent. Cases like this raise difficult questions. What does accountability look like when trauma and responsibility collide? Where is the line between understanding and excusing? And what does justice mean when no outcome can undo what has already been done? For George Torres, there is no appeal, no second chance, no opportunity to tell his side of the story. His life ended in silence and confinement, a reality that cannot be reframed or rewritten. While sentencing closes the legal chapter, the consequences of this case will never truly end. At True Crime Tape HQ, we share these recordings not to sensationalize tragedy, but to preserve the truth of it, to listen closely, to think critically, and to remember the human cost behind every case. If you found this analysis thoughtful, consider subscribing to True Crime Tape HQ for more in-depth examinations of real recorded cases. Share your perspective respectfully in the comments, and join us next time as we continue to explore the stories that live beyond the headlines. Thank you for watching. This has been True Crime Tape HQ.